All right, guys, today we are looking at Canada's government. Okay, Canada's government. You'll hear some words today that you'll recognize from past government reviews that we've done, and also times that we have talked about other countries' governments. We talked about government in Europe, and also when we talked about government in Latin America. Okay, so let's start with the title slide right here. Looking at Canada's government again, and we see this picture, and that is Parliament Hill, located in Ottawa, Ontario. It is the home of Canada's government. Okay, Ottawa is the capital of Canada, just like the capital of the United States is Washington, D.C. The capital of Canada is Ottawa. Okay, it is in the province of Ontario. Remember, their provinces are like our states. They do not have states; they have provinces. And Ottawa, Ontario, is where their capital is at. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start here at legislature. It's a little difficult to look at this, but this is our notes. We're doing this kind of help video today because these are little kind of weird notes. Not our normal notes like we usually do, not our normal question notes. So I wanted you to kind of be able to go through this with me, just in case you felt like you had trouble. So let's start here. Okay. All right. Right under this guy right here, at legislative branch. Okay. All right. So see the big picture of the man. Let's look below him at what is the legislature. Okay. Or what is legislature? And if you look right here, it tells you what the legislature is. Okay. The legislature is the central authority of a government, the central government. Okay. We've said the legislature is the lawmaking body. That's a real broad statement. But for this right here, what you need to write is I'd like you to write the central authority of a government, the central government. So please write that right there underneath what is legislature. Okay. All right. So remember, the legislature makes the laws. They are the lawmaking body. But again, this is the more direct definition right here. Okay, so start at the and end at central government. Let's see. The next question is off to the right of that, where it says, what do we call Canada's legislative branch? Okay, and that would be Parliament. Okay, Canada calls its legislature Parliament. So please look to the right of the answer you just did. Okay, where it says, what do we call Canada's legislative branch? And that would be Parliament. Okay, Parliament. All right, now let's look down at where it says, what two groups make up the legislative branch of Canada's government? And let's skip ahead a little bit. We'll come back to where we're at. And I want to go right here, okay, where it talks about there are three branches of government. The answer to this, where it says, what two groups make up the legislative branch of Canada? It says it right here. That would be the House of Commons and the Senate. Okay? The House of Commons and the Senate. Okay? Those two groups make up Parliament, and they make up the legislative branch of Canada. Okay? And we see that right here where it says legislative branch. This is Parliament. Parliament is made up of two groups, the House of Commons and the Senate. All right. So that answers all the questions in the legislative branch section, that bottom box right there. And now let's move up to the top box where we see executive right here. Okay. We look at this one right here where it says executive branch. Okay. We're on the box with the man, and that's actually their prime minister. And let's talk about this. Okay. We're going to start with, how is a prime minister chosen? Okay, let's skip back and let's go to how a prime minister is chosen. Okay, right here where it says Canada is a democracy. As a democracy, its citizens must participate in voting and elections. Okay, so he is elected. Okay, all right, okay, but he is not elected by the people. How is he elected? All right. The people elect members of parliament. Okay. And then Parliament elects the prime minister. Okay. The people elect Parliament, and then Parliament elects the prime minister. Let's see if it says that right there. Okay, see, I'm trying to find where it says a little better definition for you other than to hear me say it. But citizens vote for members of Parliament. Parliament picks the prime minister. Okay, there's really not a great way of putting this on here, but you got to listen to me. Okay, so the answer to the first one right there at the top. How is a prime minister chosen? The citizens choose Parliament. Parliament chooses the prime minister. Okay? All right? So listen closely. I'm going to say it again. The citizens vote for members of Parliament. Parliament picks the prime minister. Okay? All right? So pause it. Write that down. Let's look at what is the major difference between a presidential democracy and a parliamentary democracy. Okay. Well, that's about right here. Okay. This is the major difference between a presidential democracy and a parliamentary democracy. Okay. All right. Presidential democracy, citizens choose the head of the government. In a parliamentary democracy, the legislature chooses the head of the government. Okay. All right. So it gives you a lot of room to write right there. This is what you need to write. Citizens choose the head of the government in a presidential democracy. And then a parliamentary democracy, the legislature chooses the head of the government. Okay. So there's your answer for that second one. What is the major difference between a presidential democracy and a parliamentary democracy? They're right here. Okay. Write both of these, please. Okay. All right. What do we call Canada's executive branch? Well, we need to look right here for that. The executive branch is called the Prime Minister. Okay. All right. The executive branch is called the Prime Minister. Okay. So pause that. Write that down. All right. So those are that answers that box. So let's look over to our right where it says citizens. Okay. On that small tiny box right here. Okay. Where it says citizens. And let's figure out what the citizens do. Okay. What do citizens vote for? Well, let's go back right here where it says Canada's citizens. And, I've already said Canada is a democracy. Okay. As a democracy, its citizens must vote, must participate in voting and elections. So what do citizens vote for? Well, they elect members of parliament. Okay. All right. They elect regional government officials. And they also vote on issues like whether or not Quebec should be an independent country, which is what we've talked about the last 2 days. Okay? So all three of these things are what they vote on. So if I was you, I would either summarize these three things. Okay? You could put like little dots and put they vote for parliament. You could put parliament. Then you could put regional officials, and then right here you could put for issues. Like that's simple. All you got to do is write three dots right there, 3 points on the paper right there, and just put parliament, government officials, and the third dot put issues. Okay. Now again, what type of issues? Issues like whether or not Quebec should be an independent country. Now last time they voted for this, remember that they voted for Quebec to stay in Canada. Okay. All right. The citizens voted for Quebec to be a part of Canada still. Okay. Now, what are those people called that don't want to be a part of Canada? That's the next question where it says, what is a separatist? Well, what is a separatist? That's a great question. We've looked at this before. It was on our Quizlet Live the other day. It was on our notes from on Tuesday. But let's look at this right here. What is a separatist? Separatists are people who want Quebec to be its own country. So underneath where it says, what is a separatist? You need to write this right here. People who want Quebec to be its own country. That's what a separatist is. All right, so hit pause. Write that down. Okay? All right. Guys, this is a great PowerPoint. I encourage you to go through it, look at it. Okay? Talks about the three branches, the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch. This is a great job of showing you kind of how their constitution works. Okay. And of course, this is the notes today. So get these down. Okay. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll come help you. I hope this was a little kind of clear for you. I know that the notes are a little different today. Okay. We'll start this thing back over at the top. I know that they're a little different. Okay. But you can get through this. Just follow along with what I said. Okay. Again, I'll help you if you need me. Okay. All right. As always, we got Atlas here. Okay, Atlas is right here. If you can see her, there she is. Oh yeah, there she is. She just woke up from a little nap. Okay. All right. All right.